What do you know? What's the latest on the Boston bombing? You've got some new information on
Well, it's kind of interesting. Last week, NBC News ran this story that we have new news about the Boston bomber. Now, they just declare that Zarnev, Tamerlan Zarnev, is just in fact the Boston bomber. He did it. There's no innocent until proven guilty. That he did it, and so that's what they. And the news is that apparently, while he was hiding in this boat, getting shot at, he thought to bring with him a pad and a pen and write a note.
Yeah. So while he's laying in the boat, while they're shooting at him, and don't forget, he supposedly had a wound to the throat. He's writing a note, a little poem. Right.
And listen, I'm sorry, I said Tamerlan. It's the younger brother, Zokar. Tamerlan is the one that obviously died on the way to the hospital. By the way, after we saw him put in the police car alive and well, we won't even go there. But he writes this note apparently while he's in the boat, hiding from maybe shortly before he shot himself in the throat. Oh, but wait a minute, he didn't do that either. The note says this, apparently: I do not mourn because his soul is very much alive. God has a plan for each person. Mine was to hide in this boat and shed some light on our actions. And he goes on to say, this supposed he has written, that, quote, we Muslims are one body. You hurt one, you hurt us all. No, you are fighting men who look into the barrel of your gun and see heaven. Now, how can you compete with that?
Right.
Now, I just find it very convenient that over a year later, that all of a sudden we have a note, a confession note from this gentleman. And let's just go back and look at the facts. What do we know about the Boston bombing? We know a bomb went off at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Right. There is no debating that. People died, people were hurt. Now, we know that these two brothers were, in fact, there. We have surveillance footage of them there. We also, in fact, know that there are numerous other people that appear to be contractor-style, law enforcement, maybe mercs that are there, all wearing black backpacks, almost identical to the one that the bomb supposedly went off in.
Right.
Now, what we don't have, out of all this footage that has come forth, is we don't have a picture of either one of these brothers setting the backpack down. We don't have a picture of either one of these brothers leaving the scene without a backpack. We do have footage of the older brother being put into a police car naked, very alive and well, before he died on the way to the hospital mysteriously. We do have photographs of the younger brother, who supposedly wrote this note, coming out of the boat he was hiding in with no wound to the throat, yet we were told he shot himself in the throat. I guess that would have been after he wrote the note, on his way out of the boat.
Right. Yeah. And conveniently, so he was not able to talk, and they had to do an emergency tracheotomy on him, yet all the photographs show no wound and no blood.
That's exactly right. Listen, they threw the narrative out there. They have to go with it now. They have to go with it. That's all there is to it. They can't come out now and say, oh, no, we were wrong. These guys didn't do it. It was really this other guy over here that we wanted to blame it on, so we could blame it on some hillbillies and say that it was, some good old boy rednecks, and we could come and get all y'all.
Yeah, it was the Tea Party. What they wanted to say, it was a Tea Party operative who did it, is what they wanted to say.
Listen, CNN was saying that. They were saying that. That this was most likely going to be a single homegrown terrorist, probably right-wing, extremist, just a single act-alone homegrown terrorist.
Right.
That's what they were saying.
No accident that it was in Boston, the home of the original Tea Party, and So I don't want it to be too cute about this, but what if he was lying in the bottom of the boat? What if he was writing a note? And what if the note said, we did not do this, we did not do this, we did not do this?
Listen, that's what the brothers were screaming as the older brother as he's coming out. When they finally find him at the house. Listen, these guys, either they didn't do it, or they are the coldest, most ice water veins killers that you've ever met, because the day that the bombing takes place, that night, we know these guys are out partying it up with their friends in Boston.
Right.
Just hanging out, having a party, at a house party. We know that for a fact. Is that the actions of a killer, someone that just blew up something in Boston? I mean, it's just like I say, either they didn't do it, or they're just the most ice water in their veins killers you've ever met. One of the two.
Right. And so, but they continually, even when they were taken into custody, they continually said, we didn't do it. Now, that doesn't match up with a supposed note that proclaims braggadociously, we did do it. So
that's exactly right. As well as one of their close confidants was killed while in FBI custody being questioned. They have an uncle who, it's telling out, listen, this guy was on the CIA payroll. These guys' uncle. The facts of this story just don't add up. The conspiracy grows deeper. If I was on Ustream, I would certainly don my Viking-looking tinfoil hat right now.
Right. Well, let me just say to you, Mr. Viking tinfoil hat, let me tell you what you are. You are a racist nut job, because Benghazi, they did not lie. Fast and Furious, they did not lie. NSA scandal, they didn't lie. The IRS scandal, they didn't lie. The birth certificate, they're not lying. The Boston bombing, ergo, they're not lying. You're just a racist conspiracy theorist. You need to screw your head on right, Mr. Viking.
Well, thing that you call me a racist, because I would very much like to discuss that term and the context of how it's being used these days in the next segment, if you don't mind.
All right, let's take a time out right now, and let's talk about the term racist and how it's being used.